Mr. Gregory Cole, President of Muswellbrook RSL Sub-Branch, distinguished guests, members of the Vietnam Veterans Associations of Australia, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Elisabeth Huỳnh, and I am honoured to be standing here to share with you my thoughts on the Vietnam War as a younger generation of Vietnamese Australian and a descendant of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, ARVN Airborne Division. Today is a significant day for me, as many like myself pay respects and thank the heroes and families that fought and protected countless people during the Vietnam War, including my own family. As a descendant, it is important for me to inform younger generations of the sacrifices these courageous men and women made, and to honour and continue their legacy. The Vietnam War was an ideological war. It was a civil war between the Communist North and the Democratic South. During the war, South Vietnam received military and economic aid from Allied forces, including contributions from Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea, Thailand, Republic of China, Taiwan, Philippines, and from the USA to help resist communist invasion, the Viet Cong, and invading North Vietnamese army that was seeking to subjugate the South by force. Many lost their lives in this conflict, including 521 soldiers from Australia, 26 from New Zealand, 250,000 soldiers from the Republic of Vietnam, and up to 2 million civilians lost their lives. Let us ask ourselves why soldiers fight. G.K. Chesterton once said, "The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him." There is no greater selflessness than to fight for freedom of another man, to protect and defend the weak, and to serve for the ideals of people whom you have never met. I am proud to say that today we are surrounded by many men and women, their loved ones and people who were behind them. We thank you. Without you and without them, we would not be here today. Following the fall of Saigon in 1975, around 2 million people fled Vietnam to the open sea by boats, seeking refuge from political prosecution. The journey exposed them to treacherous seas, starvation, disease, and sea pirates, where between 200 to 400,000 lives perished. Many challenges came with this risk. The ability to adapt to a new environment, language, and foreign place that they now call home. Arriving at the new country, they were free from communist oppression and were able to live in freedom, receive education, and practice human rights. 38 years since the war, and 51 years after the first Australian and New Zealand soldiers arrived in Vietnam, the Vietnamese Australians remember the Allied forces, our fallen 250,000 soldiers from the ARVN armed forces, and civilians of the Republic of Vietnam who fought and sacrificed their lives for the freedom of the Vietnamese people. For without these heroes, we would not be alive and have the opportunities that we have now. And it is for them that we honour their memory by continuing to do our best to meet the challenges ahead and to be a force for good to continue their legacy and make a difference in the community and in this country. To follow on from Lieutenant Colonel Harry Smith, I would like to see a free and democratic Vietnam someday, so that the sacrifices of hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the ARVN and Allied forces, including 521 Australian soldiers, would not be in vain. Today, we unveil a memorial plaque in memory of those that lost their lives for the freedom of the Vietnamese people. It is a reminder to the younger generation that these soldiers have not lost their lives in vain. The plaque represents hope and life. We live in freedom because you fight what was in front of you. We mark these peoples in their hearts, in our hearts. But many years from now, when those that remember the war are gone, their descendants continue to remember, and their heroism will be engraved in stone. This plaque would not have been possible without the cooperation and hard work with Muswellbrook RSL sub-branch. The spirit of this collaboration highlights past, present, as well as future relationships. It is the greatest symbol of the love and friendship between Australia and the ARVN during the war, one that runs deep and continues to strengthen with time. Your help made this plaque a reality so that they will never be forgotten. They have fought and built this foundation we call freedom for the young, and now it is up to us to carry on this legacy into the future. I would like to finish with the earlier quote from G.K. Chesterton. The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. Thank you for your love, lest we forget.